Okay, so good evening, everybody. Today is gonna be 59th Sutta discussion, and I have decided to talk about something really interesting for today's Sutta discussion. Going forward, something that is really, uh, you know, interesting to all of us. That is none other than mindful driving. So, the topic for today's Sutta discussion will be mindful driving and 7 Buddhist tips to remain calm and fully present on the road, according to the Satipatthana Sutta, MN10. Now, here I want to, point out to you at the beginning of this discussion that we're not going to discuss the whole Satipatthana Sutta. Uh, Instead of discussing the whole Satipatthana Sutta, we will be looking at specific, mindfulness details, which can really fit into this mindfulness driving talk. Okay. In that perspective, you know that there are 4 main mindfulness aspects that are widely known by everybody. They are Kayanupassana, mindfulness based on the body; Vedananupassana, mindfulness based on feelings; Chittanupassana, mindfulness based on thoughts; Dhammanupassana, mindfulness based on mind objects. So we're going to be using these 4 in terms of, especially me giving you these 7 tips. Okay, at the beginning, someone may wonder, how could someone stay mindful, you know, uh, while driving? So that's a big question. Of course, you can't close your eyes. You can't do breathing meditation. You can't do that, right? But the mindfulness can be utilized in so many different ways into your driving uh, journey, driving experience. Let me talk about what is this, you know, uh, mindfulness in normal day-to-day life. Staying present uh, with all the chores and activities that you do involve and you're going to be doing, and pretty much that you are into the present moment. So that's basically mindfulness. But mindfulness in the Buddhist teachings does not limit to just staying present. That has no purpose. So the purpose is that you first need to be wise and then to be mindful. Being wise, you understand what to do, what not to do, how to do, when to do, where to start, all that kind of stuff. That's why this approach, even mindful driving, has to start with wisdom, wise approach. We're going to be looking mindful driving or whatever. Yesterday I talked about mindful eating, all that with wisdom. So uh, by being wise, we're going to be looking at how can I drive mindfully? How can I utilize mindfulness uh, of Buddhist teachings into uh, specific my driving conditions and maneuvers or this whole experience. Okay, without further ado, I would give you the first tip. The first tip is turn off your radio while you're driving. That's a big thing. Now, this might sound not interesting to some people, I guess. I know, like, they might say we feel bored. Uh, it's really, boring, while driving. It could be, but according to the Buddhist teachings, and when you're looking at the Buddhist teachings, especially the mindfulness teaching, as well as your driving journey, I think you need to get rid of all the distracting things at the beginning. Uh, it doesn't make any problem if you listen to radio before you drive, or when you, you know, park your vehicle. But when you are driving, I don't think listening to radio uh, distracts you, especially your whole driving experience. So that's why it says uh, you have a lot of other things to listen. Uh, when you are driving. So when you are driving, listen to this driving experience, sounds that can be heard, and all these external things that you can see and listen. So get rid of distracting radio, just turn it off. And then what happens to you is that you are freeing up, uh, awareness time, like mindfulness time, because you have no distractions from radio. You are specifically on awareness of this whole driving journey. Uh, you might probably remember an incident happened in Washington State, in the United States, a couple of years back. There was one lady uh, who was driving and who spaced out all of a sudden, and then she crashed. She rear crashed, and then what happened? Uh, she crashed. In the investigation, the police found out that she confessed to the police that uh, she was listening to a mindfulness CD by a famous, worldwide famous Buddhist teacher. And the moment that she, rear crashed, she was listening to particular kind of mindfulness tip, and then she lost the awareness of the driving experience, and then she was more focusing on that particular whatever the mindfulness thing which was on the CD, and then she crashed. So that's the problem. So that's why I'm suggesting that listening to radio, at least a mindfulness something at some point, could be dangerous and could be really detrimental. So basically, what I could tell is that get rid of these unnecessary distracting things. Just focus on the road, and you have so many sounds you can listen, and how your vehicle is smoothly running, whether your vehicle has some other obnoxious or other bad sounds coming up for maintenance or some other things, the road, just experience the sounds on the road and your vehicle. And that's the first tip that I can share with you for mindfulness, mindful driving. When you do that, uh, you know, you may feel quieter, calmer, more focused, and happy. That's the most interesting thing that we all need, right? That's our goal. You drive for happiness. I mean, for a journey, for a trip that end up being happy. But uh, if you don't get rid of unnecessary distracting things that are not really relevant to your driving journey, that could be a problem. But if there are some individuals who can get rid of radio, they can at least minimize, their attention towards radio, more focus on the road, so that they can get rid of these awareness issues uh, arising from, undue attention to the road. Okay, so the first tip is turn off your radio and whatever the sounds, and just focus on the sounds on the road or your vehicle. Just being more focused on the road and your vehicle. Number two, be aware of your body. Now, the first thing that I said by turning off the radio or whatever CD you would think is really pertain to Kayanapasana. Because in the Kayanapasana, mindfulness based on the body, we learn that we need to get rid of unnecessary things, right? So before you talk about like, uh, your messed up condition, why don't you try to get rid of the messed up condition and try to make a comfortable, easier situation for any activity, not even for driving. That's why I was suggesting this first thing, to get rid of unnecessary things for your activity, in this case, driving. So that is kind of pasana based, mindfulness based on the body. Second is be aware of your body, uh, the whole body. How can you be aware of your body? Now, I would suggest, before you get into the car or automobile, uh, you can do some little practices. Like I would say, you can take 3 deep breaths before you get into your car or whatever vehicle. Before you switching on your engine, you can take some breaths, could be deep breaths, just to feel you comfortable with uh, your upcoming trip. And then after you turn off your engine, switch off your engine somewhere, you can do the same practice. You can just take a few breaths, and then you can get off your vehicle. Even after getting off from your vehicle, you can take some breaths. So you are pretty much concerned about your full body, and you are not letting any tension of driving to promote, right? So that's the second tip. Be aware of your body, specifically, uh, you know, um, the preparation for driving, and the post-driving time. So when you take some breaths, like maybe some deep breaths, you are like releasing uh, those heavy, stuffy, emotions, and those kind of tension in the body. So that's kind of a need when you drive. Don't just keep those stuffy, heavy breaths, and that will really give you a very tense and really bad time, big time. Number 3. So I wanna refer that second tip to Vedananupasana, called mindfulness based on feeling. So when you try to be mindful based on your feelings, that means your inside feelings, uh, then you could say that is Vedananupasana, mindfulness based on feelings. So that's when you can really be aware of your body. You don't let any of the stuffy, heavy, tense feeling, go up, right? Number 3, the third tip is be aware of the other traffic. Now, this is very interesting. A lot of people, they don't pay attention to, you know, other traffic. Maybe they are pretty much with their um, radio conversations, they are doing other things. Maybe they are just focused on one thing, because Buddha said, yeah, I mean, driving. Buddha said you have to be focused, but in terms of driving, you may have to multitask. But your focus is driving, but at the same time, you have to multitask everything, whether everything is in line with your focusing. So we know uh, you can do this 360. No, you can do 360 when you're driving. You can do this peripheral visionary driving kind of thing. At the same time, you are checking your blind spots so that you make sure that nobody is around you, and you are staggering on the road. You are keeping enough space between the car in front of you and behind you. So you are checking your mirror. So you are pretty much uh, aware of the other traffic too. You're not just driving on the road. You know that it's a cooperative experience on the road, so that you are not being unmindful. So you are mindful because you know what other people are doing. It's a cooperative experience. So the tip number 3 is be aware of other traffic, what other drivers do. Actually, if you listen to radio, if you listen to another conversation, if you're too much uh, into conversations with people inside the car or whatever, then what happens? You are not having enough time to, pay attention to those other traffic experiences. So you need to understand that, pay attention to the other traffic by prioritizing your vehicle. At the same time, you are making sure that everything is around, in front of you, behind you. Okay, so that's being mindful, and I think that that's something we understand by Kayanapasana, because you are, even at that point, you are preparing yourself, you are preparing your journey pretty good, you are making it hassle free. Tip number 4: use every stoplight or intersection uh, to tap into full awareness, full mindfulness. Now, we know on the road you can keep driving. There are stop signs, there are intersections. You need to obey to the laws on one side, on a legal note, but you can utilize that experience, that stopping, as a place where you can tap into full mindfulness. Okay, that's a stop sign. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna try to keep my speed down, and then I'm gonna slowly, uh, you know, roll into that area, and then stop and slowly checking, uh, you know, uh, you know, uh, I don't know, I mean, left, center, right, or whatever, that scanning, and you are using all that techniques, those driving techniques that you are supposed to, by using mindfulness. So I need to, uh, keep my speed low at this point. I need to stop now. I need to scan now. I need to, receive my driving back. So why not using mindfulness for all these activities? Like, it's pretty easy. Uh, if you only, want to drive reckless, you might not obey to these things. You might not keep to these things. But if you really, understand mindfulness, you will be a best driver on the road. On one side, you are obeying the law. On the other side, you are experiencing, you are enjoying your journey. At the same time, you are putting mindfulness really good. So that's number 4. Use every stoplight or intersection wherever you are supposed to stop as a place to tap into full mindfulness. Understand what's going on at each different stages. Number 5, tip number 5, notice your attitudes. Okay, that's interesting. Like, when everybody is on the road, they feel like they need, they compel to comparative with other drivers. Some people are getting really aggressive on the road. But as someone who understands this situation, one has to think about that, you know, when I'm on the road uh, by driving, I need to understand this cooperative driving environment. So people who are entering the roads, and how I'm gonna keep my attitudes towards understanding what they want, what I am supposed to do. And you need to use all the safe maneuvers all the time, but at the same time, your attitude towards what other people want on the road, specifically for a cooperative driving environment. That's very interesting. So you understand what they really want, what they really uh, need to do on the road. So you are really really into understanding what those drivers are trying to do, and then you are uh, pretty much aware about their attitudes. You are not getting aggressive. You are not, even though it is competitive, but you're trying to be safe on one side. At the same time, you are cooperative. You are helping this cooperative driving experience. That's number 5. So notice your attitude, not getting aggressive, not getting so much competitive, but being cooperative and helping and following the safe procedures, maneuvers on the road. So that's really interesting. Some people getting easily freaked out, aggressive, and then they are not understanding what other people think, and even what they think, they just burst. Tip number 6 is wishing, those little reckless uh, drivers on the road. Like sometimes, uh, as drivers, pass you, a lot of people, they get freaked out. They get really upset. Sometimes they swear, which is pretty bad. So much angry. But as some other drivers pass you, uh, wish them well. Wish them well. You are not unhappy. That's what they want. Uh, at the same time, repeat, may you be well, may you be happy always, as they cut you off. This is really bad to many. When other people cut you off, they're getting really, really mad at them. So why do you want to be that much upset? Uh, because it's not your problem. And not even you taking it that bad. At the same time, you might uh, think uh, you might take it in a very uncomfortable way for your life on the road. Especially, you might sometimes risk you and the fellow passengers in the car, in your automobile, in your vehicle. So never get upset, never get angry, never get freaked out. If someone want to, pass you, just let them go, but never wish bad thing. Wish them they can go. And at the same time, someone cut you off, let them go. And at the same time, thinking to yourself, may he be well, may you be well, may you be happy. And this is the kind of mentality we need to maintain all the time. No angry, no upset mentality about it, because there are different people on the road, just as there are different individuals we know in our life. So we don't need to be uh, upset about it. That's just how things happen. The most interesting thing is that not noticing a bad person, not noticing noticing a reckless person, noticing a bad person, but understanding the reckless person, noticing the reckless person. Okay, so that's number 6. So that means tip number 6. That means you are wishing those reckless people on the road, and you are not taking it as your problem. Tip number 7 is something really interesting. You can be mindful. Now, if you look at tip numbers 5 and 6, 5 is notice your attitude towards other people, other drivers. Number 6 is wishing the reckless people happiness. They all, connected to mindfulness based on the body, mindfulness based on uh, the feelings, mindfulness based on thoughts. Uh, More importantly, mindfulness based on mind objects. Because if someone can understand, people are different, diverse, they have different opinions, they drive differently. But I mean, on the road, they have to drive in a certain way. But even that, they drive differently. So if someone can understand this whole thing with the mindfulness based on mind object, Dhammanupassana, it's pretty easy for one to stay calm, stay relaxed, fully present on the road, not getting wavered, not getting shaken by other people's mistakes. But if someone is going to risk, if you can really help stop that, you could honk, and you know that there are safety maneuvers you should do. Other than that, just let them go and wish them. That's it. The last tip that I've been trying to tell you is something little differently important. That's practice dana by giving other drivers room. I mean, sometimes a lot of drivers don't like to give space to other drivers. It's a dana, right? You're giving your space. You're giving your time and space to someone, because maybe you are a little bit late, but if you can manage that time, you are giving your time also. You are giving your space, and that's dana. Dana is not just you go to the temple and you offer food, or you just spend money on somebody. You just spend money on a charity purpose. It's much bigger than that, much deeper than that. Whatever the giving, specifically for moral reasons, wholesome reasons, is a dana. So in this case, you can be mindful to give space to other drivers if they want. Not like trying to think that I don't want to give my space to other people. Even that you can give, but some people don't try to give that. So that's the last tip. That means be mindful to allow or donate or give your space to other drivers. So that will make you calm. That will make you mindful. Because if you really be upset about the drivers behind you, you won't let them go, and you are really tense. You are really upset. You are really heavy stuff. You are really you really don't care, and then what happens inside of you? You start to puff a lot, you start to breathe a lot, you start breathe heavily, and all these are issues. All this could be issues. That's why if someone wants to go, let them go. At the same time, you are giving space. You are giving a dana to those people behind you. So this way, you could understand that there are 7 tips that I shared with you today for mindful driving, specifically to remain calm on the road at the same time, fully present on the road. I'm gonna, uh, recap those 7 tips again. The first tip that I shared with you for mindful driving was to switch off your phone, switch off your radio. What about the phone? Never look at that, right? Put away all that stuff. Get rid of all that stuff. Be that a chanting, be that a talk, be that a mindfulness itself thing. Don't watch it. Don't listen to that. Your listening, your watching is your vehicle, and more specifically, more important, the road. And your sounds, your images, they all are those safety driving scenario environment. Nothing else. The second tip that I shared with you is that be aware of your body, what's happening, and give your body an extra help to cope up with the driving. As I said to you, you can take deep breaths before switching on your engine, after switching off your engine, before you getting into car, after you getting off your car. So those things help you to have a good driving experience, specifically for mindful driving. Tip number 3: be aware of the other traffic, not even your traffic. You're gonna really look into what's going on around, right? The blind spots in front of you, behind you, everything. You're gonna be checking all that, mirrors, everything. That makes you really mindful. You can't do that if you listen to radio, if you talk to other people, if you uh, looking at your phone. You can do that stuff. The tip number 4 is use every stoplight or whatever road signs to tap into full mindfulness. Whenever you know you are supposed to stop, you make it with mindfulness. Because you can think that this is an ideal time to practice mindfulness because I had to stop. I had to be mindful to stop in time, right? And when you are, uh, you know, when you are driving back after stopping, you make it a mindfulness stimulator once again you're scanning every left to right, left center right, a couple times, and you checking everything, right? So you are utilizing mindfulness for all those habits. So that means use every stoplight, whatever road signs, to tap into fuller mindfulness. Tip number 5 is notice your attitude towards other drivers and on the road, right? Uh, Now, one thing I miss talking to you in the previous one, tip number 4, while you are stopping, while you are starting back, at the same time when you are stopping, you could see what's around you, maybe trees, people. You get to see those people. You get to hear what's going on, and at the same time, you are more focusing on the road, not the radio. Number 5 is notice your attitudes about other people on the road and the road. Number 6 is wishing reckless drivers safety and happiness. Don't get angry. Don't get upset. It's not your problem. Don't make it your problem because you are starting your journey. You are going somewhere by driving. Number 7 is that practice mindfulness by giving space in front of you if other drivers want to pass you. Some people don't want to give that, right? So make it a dana, make it a place for practicing generosity. Okay, so all these relate to four aspects of mindfulness: Kayanapasana, Vedananapasana, Chittanapasana, Dhammanapasana. I think it's better to explain to you how they can be connected. In the Kayanapasana, we know it's mindfulness based on the body. So anything that is related to the body, and you can stay mindful based on the body, is Kayanapasana. So many tips that I've been sharing with you, they are related to your body and how to prepare yourself, how to prepare your environment and all that. So they are really connected to the Kayanapasana. Number two, Vedananupasana. I've been telling you that you need to specifically look into your feelings, breaths and all that. So that is Vedananupasana, mindfulness based on feelings. Number three, Chittanupasana, mindfulness based on thoughts. Now, as other crazy, reckless drivers pass you or cut you off, uh, you might come up with thoughts of anger, thoughts of you know, illusion, delusion, ignorance. You might want to do something, take revenge or whatever. That's really unnecessary. That's why you can use Chittanupasana when that happens, when those reckless people try to pass you or cut you off, then you try to practice, oh no, I'm not gonna let my mind, you know, take any thought related to anger or jealousy, so that no ignorance, no moha, no dosa, no lobha. Now that's also contained in the Dhammanupasana. So that Dhammanupasana means understanding the mind objects. So when you understand the mind objects of reckless drivers and you practice mindfulness based on the mind objects, which you call Dhammanupasana. The last one is about generosity. So see, it's kind of a different perspective, but you're using mindfulness based on the body, feelings, thoughts, and then mind object. So specifically, mindfulness based on the thoughts. I would say Chittanupasana is the emphasis in the last step, wherein you understand that you can be generous on the road. If someone wants to pass you, you just let them go. In the tip number 6, you just wish them to. You just wish them may you be well and happy. You had no anger. You had no upsetting thoughts. So in the last step, you helping them, you know, uh, taking space in front of you or wherever they want. Under the legal driving rules by following the safety manuals. Okay, so I hope that you learn 7 mindfulness driving tips for mindful driving. Hopefully, you will put these Buddhist mindful driving tips into your driving habits and remain so much calm and stay present on the road. So that's the goal of this Dhamma talk. And I use Satipatthana Sutta MN10, and I think Digha Nikaya, I would say could be 34. I can't exactly remember. So Satipatthana Sutta comes in 2 places: the shorter version in the Majjhima Nikaya and the longer version in the Digha Nikaya. But anyways, they all have these 4 aspects. So please put them into practice when you are driving. Okay, so let's share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating in all of these ways by listening, especially that you've been listening to Dhamma talk on mindful driving from Buddhist perspective. May all the good karmas that we've been accumulating be shared by all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi ñāti nang hotu sukita hontu ñāteo. Idammi ñāti nang hotu sukita hontu ñāteo. Idammi ñāti nang hotu sukita hontu ñāteo. Also, we have a customary practice in giving, sharing good karmas with the deities and nagas. May all the good karmas be shared by all the devas and nagas. May they be happy and peaceful. May they bless all of the uh, beings in the universe. May the nagas and devas also be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme bliss of nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammihi sambatam punya sampadam sabedeva anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. Ittavata cha ammihi sambatam punya sampadam sabe bhuta anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. Ittavata cha ammihi sambatam punya sampadam sabe satta anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahimnika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu lokasasanang Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanang Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang paranti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all the good karmas that we've been accumulating in all these ways be helpful for all of us to attain supreme Visuddhi Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I'm gonna bless you with a couple more stanzas. Abhivadana Siddhisse Nichang Vaddha Prachayino Chattaru Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sangha Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Saminchati. Sadhu, sadhu. Have a good night. Stay safe.